Hi, thanks for watching. I'll be using this map later for demonstration purposes, but I'm pretty sure this will be the favoured map for the people who would like us to believe that we are held prisoner in here behind some massive ice wall that surrounds us. It's hundreds of feet high and we can't see what's over the other side and we don't know what's beyond it, and nobody can go near Antarctica to find anything out. That's pretty much what they say. Right, so I'd like to use this video to totally disprove that theory. Right, so what is it they're showing you that they help to back up the theory? I believe they're showing you this. And this is the ice wall in Antarctica, and it has a wall of ice, and it is better known as the Ross Ice Shelf. And this is the Ross Sea. Now, it is pretty big. In fact, it's 500 miles from one end to the other, and it's 400 miles deep. So it's high. It's a pretty big ice shelf. And this is what people are showing you, telling you there's an ice wall. And when ice bears break off, they can be 20 miles across. So, I think this is what it's based on, showing you images like this, because there's more than one ice wall like here. There's another couple, not as big as this, mind you, but similar, nevertheless. The guy giving credit for first circumnavigating Antarctica is James Cook, and the date's a bit misleading, but I'll explain that later. The second voyage of James Cook from 1772 to 1775, commissioned by the British government with advice from the Royal Society, was designed to circumnavigate the globe as far south as possible to finally determine whether there was any great southern landmass or terra australis. And it says here, to determine whether there was any great southern landmass. And yesterday when I opened this page up, there's another bit below that that said the outcome, and it proved there was no terra australis, because the drawback with Cook was he seldom went below 60 degrees south, so he was too far away to see Antarctica, let alone get near it. So who was the first guy to set foot, say, or to claim to land on Antarctica? And that'd be this guy, right? Fabian Gottlieb von Bellingshausen. You're going to love that name. Right, so commanding the Vostok and the Milne sloops about 500 tons each on his Antarctic voyage, he discovered Peter the First and Alexander the First Island in the South Sandwich Island group. They were the first sightings of land within the Antarctic Circle, thought at first to be part of the mainland. And then it says here, on the 27th of January, the expedition discovered the Antarctic mainland, approaching the Antarctic coast at a point with the coordinates of 6, I'll show you that in a minute, and seeing ice fields there. Right, so let's get this. Right. There we go. Right. So that would mean that I can show you this on the other map as well. He reached land somewhere in this region here. Right. I can show you that on the other map. Then there was James Clark Ross, and with two unusually strong warships, HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, it explored what is now called the Ross Sea and discovered the Ross Ice Shelf. Right. I'll show you Cook's journey and explain why the dates are misleading. Right, I won't be giving you the dates and stuff, but he left here in 1772. Right. Now, pretty much headed south, got caught in a storm for a few days. Then he pretty much, now remember, this outline here, this is not geographically correct, right? So, he spent the vast majority of his entire journey above 60 degrees south, very seldom venturing any further south. Then he got to New Zealand. Then that took him, I think that took him 5 months, right? And he spent over a year circumnavigating a large area in the South Pacific and all the islands, and then circumnavigated the North and South Island in New Zealand. Then again he headed for 60 degrees south and he continued pretty much here. Now, they have you believe that he went round Cape Horn, but I've got his journal, and in his journal he consulted a drawing he'd been given by an old mariner who showed him where to look for the Straits of Magellan. If he's approaching from the north, he just drew like a diagram of what the hill should look like, and that gave him the entrance to the Straits. So, and it took him a few days to get through the Straits, so that's why I know that he never went round Cape Horn. Right, so anyway, he ignored the Falklands and carried on 60 degrees until he headed north, back to Cape Town. Right, so Bellingshausen, when he actually, when he left Russia, up here somewhere in the Arctic Circle, he went to London, then Plymouth, to take notes from Cook's journal. Right, so he pretty much followed the same journey. And when he touched land, it was here. This is the Sandwich Islands. And let's make them red. So Bellingshausen, I think he named an island somewhere here before he got to the Atlantic. But that bit just showed you that we looked at on Google Earth. That would mean that after the Sandwich Islands, he's continued south, and this is where he's hit land. And he just headed back home again. James Ross, when he left New Zealand, where are we going here? Right, so James Ross, his deviation was he continued to head in a southerly direction, and somewhere here he found the Ross Sea and the Ross Ice Shelf. Right, now, to put that in perspective, right, so if the Americans are visiting Little America, they either leave from New Zealand or if they leave from, say, Virginia, they would go down through the Panama Canal and head in that direction. Right? So, we've got somewhere in here, we've got the Ross Ice Shelf and the Ross Sea, and either side of it is rocky hills, leading to I have no idea where. And then I'll show you some images of, well, what others have seen and recorded in Antarctica. And as you've seen there, that was Richard Bird Discovery 33 to 35 Expedition Part 1. So let's check that out. And at the start he's just showing you the penguins jumping and stuff. But here's that map with that. Right, like I say, the Americans either they come out to New Zealand to go to where Little America is, or they come through there. Right. So there's some really bad acting in this, so. And this is an iceberg. And you can see it's more than likely from the Ross Ice Shelf with a flat top. And more bad acting. And he's showing you, oh, you're going to break your way through an ice field before you get to the Ross Sea. And these are some massive icebergs. Yeah. So let's see what I've seen. Right, so like I say, there's giant icebergs everywhere. Just like this. And then this is what happens when you go near the Ross Ice Shelf. Right, so this is the landing party from that ship you've just seen. Right, here they go ashore, just like anywhere else. I don't see them with climbing gear and 200 feet of rope. No. They just came ashore and they'll walk for 7 miles inland and they'll get to Little America. And that's how they get there. No ice wall required. Right, and this is showing you the ice shelf collapsing, and this is where the giant icebergs will appear from. Right. And this is actually ice that they're on. It's floating ice, but this is how they unload the cargo. Right, so enough of that. US Navy Operation Deep Freeze 2, Antarctica Expedition 1956 to 57. Right, South Pole McMurdo Base. So let's see what they're saying. right? You don't know whether that's a giant iceberg or what. Which is what I think it probably is. It could be the ice shelf because they're heading, like I said, a lot of America is at one side of the ice shelf and McMurdo is at the other side at 500 miles away. And these guys are heading for McMurdo. And there's the land, right there. So they land on this ice, or land next to the ice, unload the cargo and just move inland. And you can see mountains in the distance. So people have been there and seen stuff. Besides, how do penguins get up a big wall? How do they jump over an ice wall? Right. Yeah, I should go here. So this is Antarctica, the big frozen wasteland. Really? So like I say, the mountains all over the place. People have seen them. And the court has seen them. What the hell? Right. Well, like I say, penguins live inland. And this looks like land to me, it don't look like ice. And this will be where McMurdo Station will be, so the ice shelf will be in this direction. Right, so there's no magical ice wall anywhere that I can see. And is this the other side of the wall? Right. Enough of that. This is a cruise ship in Antarctica. It's not just any old cruise ship. This is the world. And you don't rent a cabin for a fortnight or a month or something. No. Everybody that owns it, they own the entire, it's like a suite of cabins. This is pretty much an apartment block that floats for the wealthy, because each apartment costs millions of dollars. And you can join the cruise whenever you feel fit. And what they do is they actually have meetings on board with ideas and suggestions where they go next, because the ship never lands at a port and they don't actually, do you know what I mean? It's like a tax haven kind of thing, right? So I'll show you why I know so much about that ship. I took this picture back in August. This is up at Oban. We had been to Fingal's Cave on the island of Staffa, and we stopped off at Oban for the night, and I took this picture. So as you can see by this, there's a varying landscape. This could be anywhere. And these are icebergs. And over here, there's people. Because part of these cruises is you're allowed to go inland. There's different areas where there's no prohibition. Right. This is a cruise along the Ross Ice Shelf, and this is what's at the other side of it. Right. Right, so another couple of images here. So like I said, these people can go on boats and go ashore. Right, so no having this that nobody's allowed to go. Because people are allowed to go. Then there's this Antarctica, the frozen continent, 4K drone video. No, I don't think we're surrounded by a giant ice wall. But still, with Antarctica, there's this. Right, like everything else, I'll put a link to this in the description. We've got David Weiss here, and he's talking about a ship that they found coming from way inland in Antarctica, and it went to a small island up. I'll show you the island in a minute. But what he says about this ship, wait to check my notes. Right, so he's telling you they used software to trace the ship and they found out where it was. Right, now, he said the ship is 2,000 feet long and 260 feet wide. Right? That's big. This is a super tanker. And a super tanker is 1,246 feet long and 223 feet wide. So this ship that they were talking about is twice the size of a super tanker. That's big. Now show the island. Right, so this is the Pacific Ocean. There's Chile. There's New Zealand. And they say the ship came out from here somewhere. Right? And it headed to an island up here. Now apparently this island, the Chinese have put millions into this island. Or billions rather. And then it's there. There's nothing much to it. It has an international airport. There's that. And I'll show you. Where is it now? Let me find it. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, this is 600 feet long. But I think it's very shallow water. So I'm not thinking that's much good for a massive vessel, twice the size of a super tanker. Right. So where did this ship come from? Well, let's not look at that map. So we find on here, it's between South America and New Zealand, which would put it round about there. That's a busy part of Antarctica, round about here. Right, well, I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. Please comment.